everybody. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. It's the year of 2025. I'm all welcoming you here, guys, and I'm ready to announce the season 3 of our Emotional English Podcast. So another year, another chance to learn English. And today, I've prepared another great mini story for you guys with an interesting moral. I love these little moral stories, right? So, and today, we're going to do this, especially that. So we're going to discuss the topic of the tortoise and the bird. That's going to be our little mini story. And as usual, we will read the story. Then we will discuss the content here. And with many comments and simplified version of the language, we're going to learn some new words, some new vocabulary, all right? So that's the plan. So you remember that first of all, I will read the story fully, and then we'll go step by step, sentence by sentence to understand this story clearly, okay? So I hope you guys feel a lot of energy because the year had started already. So we need to begin this year positively and, do it kind of productively as well. So let's do it. And let's start with a little story first. A tortoise was nesting under the tree. On the tree, a bird had built its nest. The tortoise mocked the bird for having a home built with broken twigs, which it had to build itself. He bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. The bird told the tortoise that its nest might be shabby, but it had space for its friends and family. At the same time, the tortoise shell could never accommodate anyone else except the tortoise himself. Here you go. That's a little story, guys. Of course, I will tell you the moral of the story in the end when we will have finished everything. All right. But before we do this, we need to understand the full knowledge, the full understanding of this little mini story. And maybe you asking me, who is the tortoise, right? There is a tortoise and there is a bird, right? Who is the tortoise? The tortoise is another way of saying turtle. You know, the word turtle. So the synonym for this word is tortoise. The tortoise is like this kind of snake-looking thing, the animal, I guess. So which covered with a beautiful shell. So it's like a home, So this little animal has the house already, okay? So, and this house you call a shell. Many things has shells. For example, if you know or if you like different crabs, crabs, they have shell, right? It's like little cover. It's not plastic, it's not metal, but it's a shell. It's like a ceramic, like a ceramic thing. So that's what the shell is. And, mussels have shells. Then, the mussel where you have the shell inside. How you call it? I'm a little bit forgetting this. Oysters, right? The oysters with the pearl inside, right? So the oyster has a shell. The mussel has a shell. Then the prawns have the shell, or shrimps the same. So all of these things have shells, right? And the tortoise, it's a big animal. It has this house on the top of the body. So, and the tortoise is very protected because the tortoise has this little house, the shell. All right. So the tortoise and the bird, it's the name of the story. We have two characters in the story: the tortoise, the turtle, and the bird. Let's go step by step now. I read the sentence, then I comment the new vocabulary here, or ask you some questions, okay? A tortoise was resting under a tree. A tortoise was resting under a tree. So, what does it mean to rest? To rest means to relax, to feel good, And the tortoise was resting, chilling under a tree, right? So you know what is a tortoise, right? This is a turtle. And the turtle was resting under a tree. So the tortoise was resting or was running under the tree. No, of course not running, because the tortoises, they are very bad at running. They're very bad at running. Who are very bad at running? Tortoise. Tortoises are very bad at running, right? Or tortoises. So, the tortoise was resting under a bridge, right? No, not under a bridge. The tortoise was resting under a tree, right? On this tree, a bird had built its nest. All right? On this tree, a bird had built its nest. So what does it mean, nest? Nest is a home for a bird or spiders, right? So spiders or birds, they don't have houses. They have nests, right? And, sometimes we use the idiom from this logic. We say that our home is our nest, family nest, right? The place where the family gathering together, okay? So on this tree, a bird had built, past perfect, had built its nest. So the birds, they're building the nests somewhere on the tree, right? What do they use? They use little branches, sticks, or twigs, all right? On the tree, a bird had built a nest, right? Its nest. So it's her or his nest of this little bird. So, who was on the tree? The tortoise or the bird? Right. It was a bird on the tree. And what the bird had been doing there? The bird had been building its nest, right? Had been building its nest. So the tortoise had been building its nest, right? No, not the tortoise. The bird had been building its nest. The tortoise mocked the bird for having a home built with broken twigs, which it had to build itself. Okay, the tortoise mocked the bird for having a home built with broken twigs. So the tortoise was mocking the bird. What does it mean to mock? M-O-C-K, mock the bird. To mock means to joke on someone, right? So if you're joking at someone, let's say you joke at the friend, right? I'm mocking my friend. I'm mocking my mom. I'm mocking my dad. I'm mocking my sister or brother. Mocking means, playing around, having fun with in a joking way, right? So when you use jokes and you're mocking the person, you're kind of trying to trigger the person and you saying some disrespectful things in a joking way, right? So you're trying to joke, mock the person, kind of trolling. It's the synonym for trolling, right? That's what the mocking means. So the tortoise mocked the bird. Who was mocking? The tortoise or the bird? Yeah, the tortoise was mocking the bird. And who was mocked? The bird was mocked by the tortoise, right? If the tortoise mocking the bird was mocked by the tortoise, right? So why the tortoise was mocking the bird? Because the bird was building its home with broken twigs. Okay, so the tortoise was mocking the bird because the bird was building or have been building or had been building the home with broken twigs. What is a twig? The twig is a part of a stick, right? Little twigs means little stick, right? So you have a branch of the tree, and then you have some sticks. And I think twigs are a little bit bigger than sticks. Okay, so you have this this difference. So you have the tree, the branch, the twig, and then the stick. So the stick is the smallest part. Twig is a little bit bigger than the stick, just for comparison. All right. So why was the tortoise mocking the bird? Because the bird had been using the broken twigs. Broken twigs. It means probably twigs were not good. And that's why tortoise mocked the bird, right? So the bird used broken twigs, which it had to build itself, right? What does it mean? We're talking about the home, of course. So the bird used the broken twigs to build the home, the nest, okay? He bragged about his own shell. He means the tortoise. Probably it's the boy. He bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. He bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. So who was bragging? The bird or the tortoise? The tortoise was bragging. What does it mean to brag? B-R-A-G-G. To brag. To brag means to say that you have something. For example, if I say to you that I have a Bentley, right? I do have a Bentley. So I'm bragging to you. I say, and I know that you don't have a Bentley, but I do have a Bentley. So I'm bragging. I'm bragging because I have something and you don't. And I feel proud of myself, right? That's the process of bragging. When you say that you have an iPhone and somebody else doesn't have, so you're bragging. Maybe you're bragging that you have something. Maybe you have a house. Maybe you have opportunities. Maybe you have a good job. And you're bragging about this to your friends. Okay? That's called bragging, right? I can brag, or you can brag, that you can speak English, right? You say, hey, guys, you know what? I can speak English. And you don't, and you can't. So that's bragging. Bragging is good or bad? No, bragging is not good, because when people brag, they trying to make other people jealous. And you don't want your friend to be jealous, right? But the tortoise wanted the bird be jealous. And it's not a good thing. So please, guys, do not brag. But the tortoise bragged about something. About his own shell, about his own nest, about his own house. Because tortoises, they have shells with their birth, right? The shell, it's the part of their body. So the shell, it's their own house. So the tortoise bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. Yeah, it's like this. Imagine the tortoise, imagine the bird sitting on the tree. And the tortoise start to speak with this little bird. Hey, look, I have a beautiful shell on the top of my body. Look, it's very cool. It looks great. It's very powerful. It's very protected. Right? It's bragging. When you say something like this, when you concentrating on something, what do you have? It's the bragging. So the tortoise bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. What does it mean, jealous? Jealousy. What is jealousy? It's when you feel that you don't have something and you want something another person have. Right? Let's say I have a house and you jealous about me having a house. That's jealousy. Jealousy is a bad thing. People say, don't be jealous. Don't try to have something what other people have. Jealousy is bad. And maybe it's one of the sins. You know, the religious people, they say that jealousy is a sin. Sin, it's a wrongdoing. It's something wrong. It's a rule which you're breaking. When you feel jealous about something, you're breaking the rule of all kind of religion, you know? So Christianity, Muslim culture as well. So jealousy is bad in all type of religion. Even in Buddhism, jealousy is a bad thing. So don't be jealous. Respect what you have and just feel happy for people. If they try to brag about something, try to feel good about your people, you know, about people who are bragging. Because if you don't feel jealousy, it's good. Don't feel jealous because jealousy is bad. Try to feel happiness for people who have something. Respect them for having something. That's it. It's a very good strategy. So, the tortoise bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. The bird told the tortoise that its nest might be shabby, but it had space for its friends and family. Yeah. So the bird told the tortoise that its nest might be shabby. What does it mean? Oh, my nest might be shabby. Shabby is a description adjective to describe your house. So your house can be shabby or the opposite of shabby, probably strong and powerful and good looking. Shabby means not very good, you know, kind of looked old, not modern, shabby, you know. When something is shabby, people feel a little bit awkward, not good about something. For example, you can have a shabby car or shabby clothes. It's not good. It's good to have new house or new modern car. It's kind of opposite of shabbiness, right? Shabby means not good looking kind of old, right? Old looking, that's shabby. And the bird is kind of saying to the tortoise that the nest might be shabby, might be looking kind of old, not good, not modern, not perfect, probably in this context. And might be means, you can say maybe shabby, but might be is more powerful. It's about 90% sure that the house is shabby, right? So the house might be shabby, but it had space for its friends and family. So yes, the house looks shabby, but the house had enough space for all birds' friends, for all birds' family. The bird told to the tortoise that its nest might be shabby, but it had space for its friends and family. Enough space for all people to invite and to fit there, right? Okay, who has enough space for its friends and family? The tortoise or the bird? Yeah, the bird, right? The bird. And whose nest might be shabby? The bird's nest, right? The bird's nest might be shabby, looked kinda old, right? At the same time, the tortoise shell could never accommodate anyone else except the tortoise himself. At the same time, simultaneously, the tortoise shell could never accommodate anyone else except the tortoise himself. What does it mean? It means someone's nest is big and someone's shell is small, right? Whose nest is big? The bird's nest. And whose shells is small? The tortoise shell. So the tortoise shell could never accommodate anyone else except the tortoise. Anyone else except the tortoise. So it means nobody can fit into the tortoise's shell because it's too small for people. Anyone else except the tortoise can fit there, right? Nobody can fit there. Only the tortoise himself. Okay? And that's the end of our mini story, guys. I will ask you a couple questions before I'm reading the full text, and you try to answer me, okay? So the story was about the tigers, giraffes, elephants, or someone else. Yeah, this concrete story was about the tortoise and the bird, right? So who had a nest and who had a shell? You're right. So the tortoise had a shell and the bird had a nest. Who used twigs to build their home? The bird used broken twigs to build its nest, its home, right? So whose home or house looked kind of shabby? Yeah, the bird's nest might be shabby, right? Who was mocking someone? The tortoise was mocking the bird. Why the tortoise mocked the bird? The tortoise mocked the bird because the bird had shabby looking with broken twigs used the home with broken twigs. And this nest looked shabby. That's why the tortoise mocked the bird. Who was bragging, the bird or the tortoise? The tortoise was bragging about his own shell. Great. Okay. And now I will read the full story. You try to concentrate on the new vocab. Try to say and repeat with me if you can, just to practice shadowing. It's another technique to learn English. When you say the same what you hear, okay? I will try to read slowly just for you to repeat with myself. The tortoise and the bird. A tortoise was resting under a tree. On this tree, a bird had built its nest. The tortoise mocked the bird for having a home built with broken twigs, which it had to build itself. He bragged about his own shell and said the bird must be jealous. The bird told the tortoise that its nest might be shabby, but it had space for its friends and family. At the same time, the tortoise's shell could never accommodate anyone else except the tortoise himself. All right, that's the full story. We did a good job here, but we had forgotten something. What we had forgotten? Okay, I've forgotten about the moral of the story. What do you think, guys, is the moral? I think you know what it means, right? The moral, like the teaching here, is that a crowded hut is better than a lonely mansion. A crowded hut is better than a lonely mansion. That's the moral of the story. A crowded hut, a crowded building, a crowded place, home, is better than a lonely mansion. What is a hut and what is a mansion? Imagine the home. Small home is a little hut, and big house like huge cottage is a mansion. Okay? So crowded hut, it's a little home with a lot of people there. A crowded hut. And this little crowded hut is better than a lonely mansion when only one person in a house, huge house with many rooms there. Okay? That's a moral. We do have the same, synonymical, the same idea in Russian language. So a crowded hut is better than a lonely mansion because you have so many people, so many friends and family in a little hut, and all people are happy because you have friends. But lonely mansion is always lonely. And we are the social creatures. People are social creatures. We're not animals. We're not bats. We're not someone who love loneliness. We feel bad when we're lonely. That's why we're looking for another couple, maybe for a girl. If I'm a boy, I'm looking for a girl. If you are a girl, you're looking for a guy, because a crowded hut is better than a lonely mansion. Okay? So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for listening of our another lesson today. I hope you learned something. We learned today who is a tortoise, who is a bird, what kind of home or house the tortoise has. The tortoise has the shell, and the bird has a nest, right? We learned that people can brag and people can mock, and that home can look, or clothes can look shabby, right? And we learned that the crowded hut is much better than the lonely mansion. And that's enough for our beautiful lesson, guys. Today you became a little bit better, a little bit closer to your goal. Listen to the podcast every single day. Learn something new, and you will become a very proficient person. Okay? You will become better with your language. And that's all for today. Thank you all being with me today, and I hug you all, kiss you all. Have an amazing day. See you very soon. Bye-bye.